Hey guys, I'm in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, and I'm outside of... I've heard that this building might be haunted. Let's go check it out. So April, hi.
Hi.
You're the owner of this place.
Yes.
Tell me about what you see here. What are some of the experiences that you've had?
I was outside. I was working in the garden, and I felt like somebody was watching me.
Okay.
And it was like kind of almost like you're working, and somebody's like leering over you. Kind of. And so I looked up, and there was a man standing there. And he was in overalls, and he was just standing beside the big tower. And he just, like, I don't know, it was like he was looking through me. It wasn't necessarily like he was looking like right at me, but it was just like, I'm not supposed to be there.
Right.
And it was all of maybe like 10, 20 seconds, something like that. And he turned around and he started walking back toward the woods, and he just disappeared. And I felt like, I don't know, I felt like I saw something I wasn't supposed to see. So that was like one of the first things. But when we initially came into the building and we were starting renovations, I went into this room, and it was dark and gloomy and everything, and it was all the things that you never want to see when you go into a room. And on top of it, it just felt like you weren't supposed to be in there. Like there was an overwhelming feeling of this, you're not supposed to be in here.
Yeah.
A little while later, I had meticulously cleaned the building because I was very proud because we had just opened. And, you know, I have ADHD, so sometimes I forget things.
I get that.
And so I made a point like that everything was in its place so that when I came back in the next day, it was going to be perfect.
Yeah.
Well, when I came back in the next day, I walked in the door. I looked in front of the coolers over there, and there was a vase just perfectly sat right in front of the coolers.
That was not there before.
It was not there before.
Well, thank you. We're going to check out the building. We're going to see if we can maybe figure out the story behind the white t-shirted man, and we'll let you know what we find out. Interestingly enough, when we first got here, and I was wandering around and just sort of looking at things, I opened this door, and I immediately heard bells, and I was a little freaked out because there's nothing here that would make any kind of a bell noise. But it was very clear, so I shut the door and attempted to do it a few times just to see if it was, you know, my imagination, but it was very clear. And nothing. So I asked about that, and April started laughing. She said, yeah, I hear that all the time. She hears those bells, so I don't know what the heck that was all about. But yeah, so I had my own little experience here immediately upon getting to the location. All right, so I want to go check out the tower area. I'm going to use my tri-field meter and see if there's anything that's out there. EF, RF, EMF. Let's see if there's any type of energy that we can determine. All right, so this is the tower that April was talking about, where the man in the white shirt and overalls is seen. And let's see if we can determine if there's any energy output from this tower at the present moment. All right, so I'm going to start with electric. Well, let's actually start with magnetic. We'll see if we get any magnetic readings from this. So right now we're at 0.9 milligauss, which is essentially baseline. 1 milligauss. Yeah, let's just walk around, just sort of check. Not seeing anything that's terribly high out here. Okay, so it does not appear that there is there is any type of magnetic field that's occurring. So let's try electric now. So this should tell us if there's any output from any of these electrical box-looking things. I would think maybe that there's some lights. There should be something if they're powered on. I've got 0 milligauss. I don't know that the tower's getting any power at this moment. There's literally nothing. Yeah, 0 milligauss. So we're going to try one last test with the tri-field, and I'm going to flip it over to RF mode, which this should tell us if there's any sort of RF radiation that's being output from the tower. If there's radio frequency that's being transmitted, this tri-field is extremely sensitive, and it should pick that up. So let's see if there's anything here. All right, so I'm getting 0.008, 0.012, 0.058. 0.05, 0.09, 0.01, 0.08. So it does not appear that there is any radio frequency output from this antenna currently. All right, we are inside the flower shop, and we're gonna try a couple of things and see if we can potentially make contact with the mysterious man in white that likes to hang outside by the tower. We're not here to hurt you, we just want to know what your name is. That's what it sounded like. Are you buried at the Eureka Springs Cemetery? No. Did you pass in Eureka Springs? Did you die here? Are you attached to this building somehow? Did you own the farm that grew the fruits and vegetables? That's interesting. Oh, yeah. Do you want me to try something else? Maybe a little easier to communicate? Oh. Alright. The periscope's lighting up. Ed, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Can you walk closer to that device and you can make it turn green? If you get closer, you can make it green. All you have to do is walk closer, circle it. Nope. Did I scare you off? Oh no, there you go. I don't want to scare you off, Ed. There you go, thank you. Keep moving closer toward it. You're almost there. If you get it to green, that shows us that you're here. Then we know that we're communicating with you. Thank you so much.
Ed, are you still here with us?
You are. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for telling us that you're still here. Did you answer the question about having a daughter? Can you tell us that you did? You did. Yes. Green, yes. It's staying on. We're just trying to know you a little better. We just want to talk to you. Thank you. Is there something still in the building that was yours? Maybe that's what's keeping you?
Or does April remind you of your daughter and that's why you come to visit? And why you're telling her to be careful so she doesn't fall off ladders?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, April, it looks like you have kind of a guardian angel here.
Exactly. Did you move things by accident?
Not sure how you would move something by accident. Can you please tell us what your last name is? We'd really appreciate it. Can you also tell us what year it is? Do you know any of our names? What is your connection to the flower shop or to this building? Do you know what year it is? Do you like do you like watching April work here? Got some stuff there. Yeah. Play that one back. That's really hard to hear. That it's a tiny little speaker, but yeah, there's definitely. Sounded like no. A very deep male voice at that too. I'm in the octagon room and I'm not sure why that's going off. So decided to hit record. Ed, are you in here with me now? Is that why that's going off? I'm gonna stand away from it. Is there anything that you'd like to tell me? Light the device up. Do you prefer to be called Mr. Ed? Oh. Okay. Alright, we will call you Mr. Ed. I'm going to run my recorder again, okay? If you want to just speak into it. Mr. Ed, I'm holding a little box in my hand. If you want to speak into this, that would be great. Then we could hear your voice. You wouldn't have to use so much energy to try to touch the device on the table. This should be easier for you to speak to. If there's anything you'd like to say, this would be a great time. Did you know that there's a character from, I think, the 1960s maybe? It was a horse named Mr. Ed. Are you still here? Let's see if Mr. Ed is talking.
Mr. Ed, I'm holding a little box in my hand. If you want to speak into this, that would be great. Then we can hear your voice. You wouldn't have to use so much energy to try to touch the device on the table. It should be easier for you to speak to. If there's anything you'd like to say, this would be a great time. Did you know that there's a character from, I think, the 1960s maybe? It was a horse named Mr. Ed. Are you still here?
Yeah, there's actually a lot there too. I don't know that this is a residual type thing though, honestly. I mean, it
I
seems
don't
like
think it's a residual person.
I don't know that it's a residual energy because this seemed like it was very interactive
Two
and
different
sentient.
things. Two different things. I'm saying the feeling of heaviness she feels in that room, I think is a result of
From the dude that died in there.
yeah, or the
Okay.
and not just that, but him being in that space.
Right. Yeah, that would
Working
make
in that
sense.
space.
But Ed,
No, I think it's two totally related.
yeah, I think Ed is an intelligent
Oh, absolutely. Right.
spirit. So there is a scientific theory of something. It's called the stone tape theory, and the idea being that certain substrate materials, rock, for instance, gypsum, crystal, sandstone, limestone, can absorb energy. So back in the early 80s, there was a archaeological dig in China, and they unearthed a bunch of pottery shards from what was once a pottery firing a kiln. And one of the archaeologists on that project was an audio engineer by trade as well, and he thought of the idea of being able to map the surface of the broken pottery shard, similar to like how a record or a CD player records in pits and grooves on it. His thought was that if there were people talking in the room when the pottery was fired 3,000 years ago, that potentially you could retrieve the audio from those pottery shards just like you would off of a record player, off a CD player. In other words, your voice would be imprinted within the material, and then it would be fired in the kiln forever. So he came up with a way of doing it using a laser interferometer. Basically, he scanned the surface of the pottery and was able to sort of play it back like a CD player, and they actually heard voices from the people that are obviously long dead from 3,000 plus years ago that were in the room that were making the pottery when it was fired. So the idea of stone tape theory is that energetic events, speech, any type of an emotional event, suicide, murder, even a natural death, could somehow imprint energy into those materials. So sort of like the pottery, sort of like limestone, sandstone, that energy can be kind of recorded. And remember, cassette tapes are a great example of that because they're recorded using a natural material called iron oxide, which is rust. So natural materials seem to be very conducive to recording things. So I can tell you all of Eureka, geologically, it's built on recording material. So most of Eureka, including the Crescent Hotel, is built out of limestone. There's a huge amount of limestone here. So I'm certain there's probably limestone in the substrate underneath the building. There's probably some in the gypsum boards that are the sheetrock in the building. Well, April, thank you so much. This has been absolutely awesome. Do you feel like this has given you any answers?
Yeah, actually a lot. I feel a lot better.
Good.
and I'm really glad we got to some of it.
Definitely. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you coming out.